Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Remake Learning Days. We are doing Farmer Friday, a visit to Jubilee Dairy. So today we will be visiting a dairy farm and seeing what all they do. But first, just a little bit of housekeeping. Okay. So your audio and video is off, so you can't talk or speak, but we have a chat. So if you need to say anything, you can go ahead and put it in the chat. Now, that chat is visible to everyone, so we want to be very respectful of all the other classes and students who are with us today. Okay. Throughout the presentation, you'll have time to stop and think. And if we, okay, all right, sorry, um, seeing if that helps with the echoing a little bit. Okay. So there is also a question and answer box. It'll show as Q&A. If you think of a question during the presentation, you can drop it in the Q&A box. If you can't find it, the chat is okay. But we're going to take some time throughout the presentation to stop and think of our questions and write them down, and then some more time to talk with our presenter and let her answer your questions. Okay. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Kendra. And Kendra, I'm going to ask you to unmute.
Just a second. How is this, everyone? Is
Good.
this great? Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Aren't you a good-looking group this morning? Welcome to a beautiful spring day on the farm. It's a little chilly, but my name is Kendra Nisley, and I'm so delighted to be with you this morning. We're here on our family's dairy farm. My husband and I farm dairy cows. We milk about 200 cows at Jubilee Dairy. We have 5 children who are the 10th generation farming this region. We're so honored to be here and to continue the farming tradition. I have some wonderful friends with me this morning that want to say good morning to you too. And I'm looking very forward to talking with you all and hearing your questions. We have about 250 acres on our farm that we use to grow food for our cows. We have lots of wonderful employees who help us milk our cows, including our family. And we're so honored to work together as a team to make yummy, delicious milk for you and the rest of the world. So come along today. We're really excited to have you, and we really thank you for taking the time to join us and to listen to us tell our story today. There's one little special thing. Don't miss this. There's a little cow about this big, and she's blue. She will show up on one of the frames while I'm talking about our cows. And when your class sees her, whichever classroom is the first to text
In
in
the
the
chat.
chat that you see the blue moo cow, I get to send a little prize package to you. So watch for the blue moo cow and look forward to asking your questions as I look forward to answering them. I'm really excited to be with you today.
Okay. And I am going to switch it over to a video really quick. Okay. All right. So you should all see a video right now. Let me know really quick if you can't. It's paused. All right. And we're gonna do this to take a look at the farms.
So this is Diesel, and he was just born this morning on the farm. So calves are usually born. See how he's a little wobbly on his legs? That's because he's learning how to use his long legs. Sometimes calves are 100 pounds when they're born, and usually they start walking in about 10 or 20 minutes after they're born. He's learning to use his legs. Aren't you, Diesel? That's right, you are. So Diesel will be able to drink his mama's colostrum, which is really special milk the mama makes when the baby's born. This is the special milk the mommy makes when the baby's first born, full of vitamins and nutrients and antibodies that protect the baby from sickness. It's much more thick and yellow than the regular milk fed to the other calves. The newborn babies always get colostrum when they are first born. He will be able to drink her colostrum for 3 feedings, and then we will give him regular milk. So these are our heifer calves that we take care of, and they each have their own special little house. It helps them to grow big and strong and prevents diseases from being spread between them. So we keep them clean and healthy and fed lots of yummy milk. And the heifers are baby girl calves that are here on the farm. Each one is special to us and has a name and a number that we use to keep track of her while she grows here on our farm. These heifers are about more than 1 year old, and they are pregnant, and they will soon have a baby. In 9 months, these pregnant heifers, these pregnant girls will have a baby, and then they will start to make milk. So each one has a special earring on so we can keep track of her. And this is the food that our heifers eat. Ah, doesn't that smell good? This is the corn that is stored in those big silos that comes into the feed mixer and gets ground up so the cows can enjoy it and their stomachs love it. This is called a pre-fresh pen. Pre-fresh because when a cow has a baby, that means she's a fresh cow. So pre-fresh means before she's fresh. So these mamas will have a baby less than 2 weeks from now. We're so excited to see what baby calf they will have. And then after they have a baby calf, they start making milk. So at Jubilee Dairy, we have different breeds of cows. Our friend Bertha here is a Swedish red mix with the Holsteins. We also have Montbéliard mix who are from France. So we have Swedish cows, we have French cows, and we have Holstein cows that are very popular in Pennsylvania and the United States. So everybody say hi to Bertha. This is Birdie, one of our milk cows. And Birdie is wearing some special earrings on her ear. Do you see the yellow earring? It has her number, a number on. And Birdie also has an orange ear tag. And that ear tag helps us know on the computer whether she's sleeping, eating, moving around, if her stomach is ruminating. It's a really special computer chip that goes right to our computer so we know what she's doing all day, every day. Welcome to our milking parlor. In this parlor, we can milk 16 cows at a time. So because we're milking around 200 cows, it takes us about 2.5 hours to milk, and that includes washing up. So right now, this is where our cows come in to be milked. They walk straight ahead, and we use these milkers to put on their udder. Right now, we're washing the milkers because milking is finished for the day. But when these are nice and clean, we take the jetter cups off and take this milker and put it onto the udder of the cow. After that, the milk flows from her udder down into the pipes, down into the meter, and eventually over to the bulk tank that you'll see in just a minute. So every day, the milk flows from the cow's udder down the pipes into the meter and then through the other pipes over here and goes down into our bulk tank. This tank can hold more than 4,000 gallons of milk. And we have a big truck that comes and picks up our milk every other night while you're sleeping at midnight. The truck comes into our driveway and the truck driver puts a hose through the wall. Watch this. Watch. Can you see me? This is where the hose comes through the wall. And then after the truck driver brings it through the wall, he connects his hose to the bottom of the tank. And then all of the milk comes out of the tank and goes into his truck to go to a processing plant, maybe like Hershey Foods or Garlic Milk or some plant that helps to give milk to the grocery stores. We're going to take a little special peek into all the milk that's staying cold in our bulk tank. So watch out, climb the ladder with us and peek into the milk. It's almost 4,000 gallons of fresh cow's milk. Come, take a look. So check out all this beautiful milk. Do you see the frothy cream rising to the top? The frothy cream is part of the milk fat in our cow's milk. This means you've got nutritious, fresh, clean milk that can come for your breakfast and your cereal in the morning.
Okay, so a few of our classes saw the blue cow there,
Yay.
and and it looks like the first one to see it was is T. Snyder. So if you could message the host and panelist, your if that's the teacher or a student, please let us know. All right, and I am going to turn it over to Kendra. And Kendra, your video is there we go. All right. So if you want to expand on anything we saw in classes, now is a great time to drop your questions in the chat or the Q&A.
Awesome. Yes, guys, so excited for your questions. If you noticed on the video, a dairy farm is like a big circle. The baby girl calves are born, and then when they get a little bit older, they become pregnant. And after they have a baby calf, they start making milk. And then after they make milk for a while, they rest and then they're pregnant again. And it's like a big circle on the dairy farm. So I hope you got to see the baby calf and some of the bigger cows too. So I'm looking forward to hearing some of your questions. I'm sorry for some of the words that I use that are funny words to you, like jetter cups and bulk tank. Those are words that we use every day, but I know for you, they're new words. So if you have any questions, just let me know.
Okay, we have one question. How many baby cows are born every day on the farm?
That's a really good question. We love our baby calves, and there are some days that there are no baby calves born. And then there are some days that maybe two or three baby calves are born. So on average, it might be like a baby calf every day or every other day. Some seasons are lots of baby calves, and some seasons are a little less baby calves, but we have baby calves a lot on the farm, and we love to have them and we love to see them. And they start walking. If you remember Diesel that you saw on the video, they start walking even as soon as 10 or 20 minutes after they're born, and they're really big when they're born. They can be up to like 70 or 100 pounds. So that's a really good question about the baby calves. Thank you for asking that. Are there any other questions?
We do have a few.
Okay.
So why do cows get milked?
Oh, good question. Why do cows get milked? Well, cows get milked because they're producing milk. So, the part of the natural body cycle for a mother is to make milk when her baby is born. So, part of our process here on the farm is to harvest that nutritious milk. We feed the baby calves and we also feed you. We feed our family. We feed the community around us with this fresh milk. If the cows actually, it's for their health as well that we milk them so that they stay healthy, because a mama cow produces milk, and just like we as humans make milk too when we have babies. So it's part of the cycle on the dairy farm.
All right. So how much milk comes out of each cow, and how long does it take to milk one cow?
That is a really good question. So every cow on our farm makes about 7 or 8 gallons of milk. Do you know how heavy a milk gallon is? I think it's about 8 pounds. So they make about 8 gallons of milk in the morning and about 8 gallons of milk in the evening. Do you know how many gallons of milk that is every day? That's almost 16 gallons of milk from every cow every day. They are producing beautiful fresh milk just for you. And that is about the amount that our cows produce here on the farm. They produce milk when they're happy and well fed. They can relax and eat when they want, sleep when they want. They enjoy the time in the barn for that between milkings. But it does take 2 milkings every day for every cow. So it takes a lot of work each day. And do you know what? The cows don't even know when it's Christmas. They don't even know when it's Easter or Memorial Day or Labor Day. They want to be milked every day. So we work really hard to keep them happy and healthy. And you can help me, Cassidy, if I answered that correctly or if I'm missing part of the question, because sometimes I talk too much and then I forget what the question is.
I think that was good. Um, so a couple more milk questions. What if you milk the cows too much? And is there such thing as too much milk produced by a cow?
That's a really insightful question. I told you guys you were good looking this morning. You're a smart bunch. I appreciate these questions a lot. So, what happens? Can you milk a cow too much? That's a really good question. On our farm, if we milked a cow too much, we would have to be milking like all the time. We would never sit down to be able to eat breakfast, and it would be not healthy for her body. So, what she does is she milks in the morning, she takes a rest, and then her body just she lays and eats and sleeps and rests and drinks. By the way, each cow drinks about a bathtub of water a day. So she just relaxes and then she's ready for her afternoon, or in this case, her evening milking. So we don't want to milk the cows too much, or it would be not healthy for them. So we have the rhythm that their bodies need for milking. And the second part of that question, Cassidy, is what was the second part of that question? Sorry.
Can a cow make too much milk?
Good question. There is actually we don't know of a cow that makes too much milk. There are just some cows on our farm that make lots of milk. Like we have a cow that's been on our farm for years, and she's made more than a huge tractor trailer truck of milk in her lifetime because she makes a lot of milk. Some cows don't make quite as much milk, and that's okay. Each cow is different, and each cow makes its own specific amount of milk. And did you know that each cow also has its own spots and its own markings on its body? No two cows are the same. Just like you, if you look at your thumb, you have a special thumbprint that is just yours. No one else in the world has that thumbprint. So just like your body is unique, so each cow we have is unique with its own amount of milk produced every day and its own spots and even its own personality. Some of those cows are very bossy. Trust me.
Um, how old is a cow when they have a baby? And how many cows do they have? Or
That's
excuse me, how many babies can they have?
good question. So remember how old is the cow when she has a baby and how many babies can she have? Beautiful question. I love these. So when the calf is born, it's about maybe 100 pounds already. So believe it or not, when a baby calf grows to be about 1 year old, this girl calf called a heifer is old enough to be bred and is old enough to get pregnant. So she will get pregnant when she is about 1 year old. And then 9 months later, just like humans, we keep our babies in our bellies for 9 months too. 9 months later, she will have a calf. And most of the time, our cows have one calf each because, they're so big when they're born. Once in a while, we have twin baby calves. Those are the cutest. They're usually a little bit more tiny than the single calves. And never on our farm in the last couple of decades that I've been farming, but I have heard in the news already. I've known of a cow that has had triplets, but that is very unusual. And we've never had triplets on our farm. But usually it's one calf, and that calf gets to enjoy its mama and its milk and enjoy the life on our farm. It's a great question.
Yeah, very nice. How old are your oldest cows, and how old is Diesel?
That is a really good question. So Diesel is already, so Diesel, we filmed part of the video you saw a little bit ago. So Diesel is already about 2.5 weeks old. And the second part of the question, some of the cows on our farm, so they all have different birthdays, they all have different ages. And some of the cows on our farm are 9 and 10 years old, and some of them are younger, like maybe 3 and 4 years old. And then some of them, like you saw Diesel being born, are maybe a day old. So we have all ranges in age of cows on our farm.
When they're babies, what do the babies eat, and how do you feed them?
That's a really good question. So when the babies are born, they actually drink their mother's colostrum. Colostrum is a really fancy word for thick, gooey, yummy milk that has tons of antibodies and vitamins and nutrients that comes from the mama, and it comes from her first milkings after she has a baby. So we feed the baby calves the mama's colostrum. Did you see that yellow thick colostrum on the video? That's what the babies drink for the first three milkings after they're born. And we feed the baby with like a special little bottle. I don't have one in my hand now, but we have the little bottles on the farm, and we put the colostrum in and feed the baby that. And then after the colostrum, the baby will continue to get milk until it's big enough to be weaned and start eating grain. And do you know the fun fact about this grain? Sometimes my kids eat it because it has molasses in it. And it's a very sweet grain. So after they become about 3 months old, they start to move away from their milk and eat a little bit more grain until they're weaned, which means they completely don't need any milk at all. And they can eat grain and hay and all the crops that we grow here on the farm. Great questions, guys.
That answered part of one of our questions. What do cows eat? So, following up with that, how much does a cow eat in a day? And do they eat grass and why?
Yes, that is a really good question. So our cows have access to what we call feed bunks, where we mix feed from our silos. You can see the silos behind me. They eat corn that's grown in our fields, alfalfa grown in our fields. They eat rye, which is grass chopped up, soybeans, all kinds of things that we grow around here. And we also let them eat grass when they can go out to the pasture. The problem with Pennsylvania is, do you know what kind of winter we just had? It was so cold and so snowy and so icy that the cows don't always have access to fresh green growing grass like they do in the spring. So when we grow our food all year long, and in the harvest fall time, we harvest, we put the food in the silos, all the grains and forages, the alfalfa, the corn, the haylage, we put them in the silos, and then we can get the feed out of the silos all year. And we mix it up. You saw that on the video, I think. The big feed mixer mixing all the feed up so we can put the feed in for the cows into the feed bunks so they can eat all day, every day, anytime they want. And every cow consumes many pounds of food each day. And to be very honest, my husband, the real farmer, knows the exact amount of pounds a day that each cow eats. And I don't have that answer in front of me at the moment, but I can check on that, and I can even get back, Cassidy, if to make sure I have the right amount of pounds, because every cow gets to go to a big feed bunk that's filled with a smorgasbord of food. So not each one doesn't have its own plate of food. It's a big feed bunk that they can go and eat. And I think that was on the video too. You saw a cow eating from her feed bunk.
Good. And just so you all know, if we don't get to all of your questions or if there's something that Kendra wants to clarify, We
Yes.
will write them all down and we'll email them out to you. So we will, follow up. What kind of, what breeds of cows do you have, and what is the rarest breed?
Oh, that is a really good question. I'm telling you guys, you're a smart group this morning. So, on our farm, I can answer that question the easiest. On our farm, we have a Holstein breed. Those are black and white, and they're really popular in the United States. But in order to add some diversity to our herd, my husband also chose Montbéliard breed, and Montbéliard is from France. Those of you who speak French probably say it a little bit better than me. But a Montbéliard breed from France, they have more of a white face. And then also we breed with a Swedish red cow. The Swedish red cow is from Sweden and she has beautiful red markings. I think you saw one of our Swedish red cows on the video too. So those are the three breeds of cows that we use here on our farm. And in the dairy industry as a whole in America, I will have to check on the rarest breed of dairy cow. That is a really good question. That has stumped the farmer this morning. You guys are fantastic. I know there are shorthorn cattle that have long horns and they sometimes milk those cows. And I don't know if buffalo count as dairy cows. I don't think so. They're a different species, but that's a great question. I'll get back to you on the rarest breed of dairy cow. I actually want to know that myself. Good question, guys.
Yeah. A couple questions about the farm. So, how old is your farm, and do you live there with the cows?
Yes, good question. So our farm is older than me, and I'm pretty old. I won't tell you how old I am, but we have been dairy farming for only about 20, almost 20 years now. But this farm has been around for decades. The Nisley family has been farming this area since 1717 when they came over from Europe, but it has not always been this exact farm. So while this farm is old, it doesn't date back to the 1700s. We have been farming. My husband grew up on this farm, so it's been in dairy farm for probably about 50 years. But right now, for us, we've only been dairy farming for 20 years. And we are just about ready to move to the house that is right here with the cows because my husband's parents have moved somewhere else. So now our cows have been here for a while, but we've been down the road. So now we're excited to be right next to our cows. Well, maybe I'm not excited if they wake me up at night with a little moo, but I don't think they will. They'll like us being close to them, I think. So we're excited to move very close to our cows this summer. It's a new transition for us on the farm.
Very
Great question.
exciting. Yeah, very exciting. We have a couple of people chiming in saying it looks like maybe the Irish Kerry is the most
Oh,
rare and oldest breed. Um,
fantastic.
and then,
Irish Carry. I'm excited to see what the
yeah,
Irish Carry looks like. Thank you guys for helping to teach me this morning. I learned something new. That's fantastic.
um, we'll do one more quick question before our next portion. But how early do you have to wake up to milk the cows and take care of them?
That's a very good question. How early does a dairy farmer have to wake up? I'll be very honest with you. For many years, almost 10 years, my husband and I got up at 3:45 in the morning to start milking at 4 o'clock. And do you know what? After about 10 years of that, we looked at each other and said, do you want to do this? No. Do you want to do this? No. We got so tired of waking up early. We said, why don't we change our milking to 7 o'clock in the morning? And what do you know? We milk at 7 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the evening, and it's a beautiful fit for our family. As long as our milkings are 12 hours apart, I know other farmers who pick their time that they want to milk. Maybe they milk at 12 in the morning and 12 in lunch and 12 midnight, or maybe they milk at 9 in the morning and 9 at night. We've chosen 7 o'clock and 7 o'clock because we just got too lazy waking up at 3:45 in the morning. I hope that's okay. Our cows seem to like this time too, and we like it much better as well.
That's very interesting that you can adjust that. So,
Yes.
all right. So we are going to switch gears a little bit, everyone. We're going to
Mhm.
watch another video about cheese making. Okay. And then a similar kind of thing. We'll come back and talk to Kendra more. So we will get to your questions. Continue to put them in the chat and Q&A. All right.
All right, everyone, now that you've seen the cows and the baby calves and know how milk is made, watch what we can do with this fresh milk in the kitchen. This is milk from this morning's milking from the cows, and I will show you how to make a simple mozzarella cheese with just our milk and white vinegar. Come along, I'll show you. First, we're going to pour a half gallon of raw milk into a saucepan. Then I'm going to add 7 tablespoons of vinegar. Let's do 7. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The important part is this milk has been heated to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. And after we add the vinegar, we wait for 15 minutes. And then look what happens. So the vinegar helps the milk fat to separate from the water. And look what we have here. We have curds. This is the milk fat all clumped together because the vinegar has separated it from the water. The water in this is called whey. It has a special name because it used to be the house for the cheese fat. But now the fat is finished and separated, and we're going to make it into a little cheese ball. So now we have our ball of cheese curds. What we're going to do is dip it in some really hot whey and begin to stretch it. See, it's not very stretchy right now. It's very clumpy. So let's see what it does when we dip it into hot whey, about 170 degrees Fahrenheit. And it begins to get a little bit stretchier. This is very hot, so do not do this at home without an adult's help and some good rubber gloves. So we're dipping the curds into the whey, and we're beginning to see them heat up. And there's a little bit of stretch coming. See that? Just a little stretchy, like your cheese stick, like your mozzarella cheese stick. All right. It takes a little bit of time for the curds to be convinced to get nice and warm and stretchy, but we're going to keep working with them. So the cheese now has a rich, glossy finish on the outside, and it becomes stretchable like a mozzarella. So now that we have our yummy mozzarella cheese ball, we can cut it into slices, or we can shred it and put it on a pizza dough for your Friday night pizza night, or you can put it on a cracker and have a fresh bite of mozzarella and cracker. So we are at the little cheese shed on our farm. And do you know what? Our neighbors can come in anytime and help themselves to our cheeses. But don't forget, they have to pay for their cheeses, right? So after they get the cheese from their cheese from the cooler, they come on over here and they put their money into our cheese box. and they take their cheese home to enjoy. It's called a self-serve farm stand. So while we just made some mozzarella cheese together that you can eat fresh, we also have some specialty cheeses from our farm that are also made with our cow's milk. There's a Colby cheese, a garlic and dill cheddar, our plain cheddar. We have our award-winning first place farm show Applewood smoked cheddar. So this is how people can come to our farm and get some of our own cheeses from our cow's milk to enjoy at their house too.
I'm sorry.
Okay, and we're gonna switch back to Kendra. All right. So, Kendra, do you want to expand on anything we saw?
Yes, great job, guys. I saw some more of you. We're finding our little blue moo cow that was along for the tour and the cheese making. So great job. You guys are paying attention so well this morning. So you were able to see how we use some of our cow's milk to make some cheeses and how we've made also cheeses to sell. And I'm really glad you could see part of that process. I know the Friends of Agriculture Foundation will actually be able to email you out a follow-up on how the cheese is made and a little bit more specifics on the recipe. So I'm excited about that. What you saw was just a very simple stretch of the mozzarella, and that mozzarella cheese is used on your pizza. For those of you who love pizza, mozzarella is the top cheese for pizza. So we also have cheeses that we sell at our farm, and I think you saw many of them on the video. We come up with some special recipes for our cheeses. So our five pepper party cheese won first place at Farm Show. We actually hand rub it with cayenne powder and olive oil. So like a hot pepper. This is our spiciest cheese. It has red peppers in, black peppers, chipotle peppers, sweet cherry peppers, even jalapenos. And it was not hot enough when we first made it. So we decided to rub it with some cayenne pepper and olive oil on the outside. And people usually really like the hot and spicy. Our Applewood smoked cheddar is made with applewood and it's smoked around the outside. That one also took first place at Farm Show. And of course, we have fruity cheese. It has cranberries in it. See the little cranberry specks? That one will age for a year or two and sell near Christmas as well. People love this at Christmas time. And see our cows, they're grazing. These are an actual picture of our cows in our meadow. They're grazing in the grass in a beautiful summer day. We are a member of the PA Preferred. So when you go shopping with your guardian or your parents or whoever you shop with, look for PA Preferred. We love when you support products made in Pennsylvania. So thank you guys for learning a little bit more about cheese making and how that works with the milk from our cows. And the recipes that you'll be getting, the follow-up does show you how to make cheese from pasteurized milk that you get at the store as well. So there are a whole bunch of options you can use right in your own home. So thank you guys. Do you have any questions?
We do have some questions. So, what is whey and curds, and why is it called curds? That
Hmm.
might be a tough one.
That I'm telling you, this group is so smart. You guys are sharp. You're a good looking bunch with lots of fabulous questions. So so when milk is formed in the cow and comes out of the cow, the water molecules are polarized. This is more for your teachers, and it suspends the milk fat into the whole liquid. But when we put the vinegar in, it takes away those bonds and makes the milk fat come apart, which is called the curd. The curd is like the milk fat all gobbled up. And then the whey is left over. It's like a liquid, kind of watery, but it has protein in it. And sometimes sports drinks or powder, whey protein powder, uses that liquid to make more food to eat that has protein in it. So the curds that we took away, that's confusing. The curds that we took away from the whey, the curds that we took out of the liquid whey then can be pressed. And after they are pressed, more liquid is removed and they become, if you will, more cheesy, more like a semi-soft cheese. The more they're pressed, the more that liquid whey drains out. And then it becomes like a semi-soft cheese like this, where it's kind of firm, because these are actually curds that have been pressed really hard. And then the whey comes out and it turns into a block of cheese. So it's a very good question. Curds are called curds, I think, because they're a very fresh fat from the milk and they don't have all of the whey out of them yet. But when we press it into a semi-soft cheese, then we call it cheese instead of curds. This is cranberry cheddar, not cranberry curds. But you can buy fresh cheese curds sometimes, especially out west in Wisconsin. They have them in their gas station supermarkets everywhere. So those are big cheese people out west as well, if you ever get a chance to travel. And that's a wonderful question. Are there any more questions?
A little bit about processing milk and maybe making cheese. So, when you're making your own cheese, you said we had to use raw milk. So, what's the difference between raw milk and regular milk? And
Mhm.
how might you get those and use them?
Yes, wonderful question. What is the difference between raw milk and pasteurized milk? And how can you get them or how can you use them? The good part is you can make cheese with pasteurized milk. And I believe all the teachers will get a link after our time together that they can use a recipe that includes pasteurized milk that you buy from the store. The pasteurized milk that you buy from the store is called pasteurized because they have heated the milk to a certain temperature and then cooled it in order to kill any pathogens or any bacteria or any kind of anything that would not be good for the human body to make it safe for consumption for everyone. That's called pasteurization. The milk that we use from our bulk tank, you guys remember seeing the cream rise on top of the bulk tank with all the milk churning in the cooler? That is what we use for our family, and that is raw milk. That just comes straight from the cow. It has not been pasteurized, it has not been heated to kill any bacteria or pathogens. Our family only drinks the raw milk, but we are also around the cows every day, all the time, and on the farm. So our bodies are very accustomed to the raw milk. And we've never gotten sick or anything bad about that. But the United States and Pennsylvania have really good systems in place. The Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture and the USDA have really good systems in place to make sure that the milk is always safe for everyone to drink. So we don't sell raw milk on our farm. We don't have a permit to do so. Some states allow it, some states don't. It's another big discussion, maybe for the teachers another time. But we do use that milk to make some of our cheeses that we eat as a family. And we also used pasteurized milk to make some of our cheeses that we sell as well. So it's a really good question. The store-bought milk is pasteurized. And also the other big word, homogenized, which means the milk fat has been distributed evenly all throughout the milk bottle so that no cream often rises to the top. It's usually evenly distributed into the whole milk container. So very good technical questions, and it lends itself to a chemistry lab or a science lab. Teachers, are there any other questions, or I can keep answering whatever you think, Cassidy?
Yeah, we have a lot more. So how long does it take to process the milk? So, taking it from your farm, pasteurizing it, homogenizing it, how long does that take? And do you pasteurize it yourself?
Yes, great question. So the process itself does take a certain amount of time. We ship our milk from our farm every other night at midnight. And after our milk is taken from our bulk tank, it's loaded on a tractor trailer truck, and then it goes to the processing plant. And those processing plants they process the milk like immediately within the day, or they have staff that work around the clock to process that milk. So we do not pasteurize here on the farm. I do work with cheesemakers to help me make our cheese, and they have big pasteurizing vats on their farms that they use, and I help them to make our cheeses. Someday I might get a big vat, just called a cheese vat. It looks like a big bathtub for our milk. Maybe sometime I can get that here on our farm to pasteurize our own milk, but it's a lot of money and it's really expensive. And we haven't yet bought one of our own pasteurizers. So we have other folks that help us do that for our pasteurized milk cheeses. It's a really good question. The plants that process those big tractor trailers of milk, they have huge vats and they process the milk around the clock every day, all the time. So it's a very quick processing for the milk that goes to your kitchen table from the grocery store.
Very cool. So, what are some different kinds of cheeses you can make? And do you get different kinds of cheeses from like different breeds of cows or different kinds of milk?
Hmm.
How does that work?
Very good question. All kinds of science people, you smart people, you. This is fabulous. So, the way that you can make different kinds of cheeses, there are hard cheeses, semi-soft cheeses, there are cheddars and Colbys, there are Havartis, Parmesan. There are most of the way to get the type of cheese is the process. So, for instance, for the hard Italian cheeses like the Parmesan or the hard crumbly cheeses, you use a different kind of culture to help to set the milk and to help to set the curd. They're called thermophilic cultures for a very high heat. And then a lot of whey is extracted. So those drier, harder cheeses are your mostly Italian cheeses that you enjoy. The softer cheeses are pressed, but not quite as hard. The cheddar, interestingly enough, got its name from how you cut the curd. So after the curd is separated from the whey, before I squish it in my hands, I actually cut it at an angle and make a grid with my knife. It's a really interesting process. It could be another whole other discussion. The milk that comes from our cows will make a, a different amounts of cheeses because sometimes the fat in their milk is higher and then it makes more cheese. Sometimes the fat in their milk is a little bit lower depending on what they're eating, and then it makes a little bit of less cheese. But primarily, the type of cheese you make is from how you process the cheese, not from what cow it comes from. Some cows have high fat, like Jersey cows have a lot of fat in their milk, so you can make a lot of cheese from a little bit of milk. But our cows have about 5% milk fat, so they make a certain amount of cheese for however much milk we use. And then we put the right cultures in and the right temperature and the right way to squish the curds together to get our cheese, a cheddar or a Colby. In fact, are most of our cheeses, and they have a certain moisture content, a certain fat content within those cheeses. That's getting really sciencey for all you guys. I think maybe we need another science lesson. You have such good questions. Way to go.
Yeah. I get on a similar note, how do you get milk with different levels of fat, like 1%, skim, whole?
Yes, very good question. So on the grocery store, skim, 1%, 2% whole milk. So the processing plants are actually able to control the amount of fat that they bottle into those bottles, and they have strict regulations on how they measure that fat content. So they can skim the fat off and make it skim milk for those ladies of us who like to watch our weight, and they can leave the milk fat in so that they can have whole milk. And maybe some of you kiddos need to drink whole milk so you grow big and strong and your bones get very strong. Milk makes strong bones. So don't forget that. So the processing plants have a strict procedure that they use. On our farm, we can watch our milk is tested on every load. We can watch how much butter fat, how much fat our cows make. And sometimes when they eat more corn or their diet has a little more like certain forages in, they make a little bit more fat in their milk than other days. Usually it doesn't change too much, but there's an interesting fact that some of it is also genetics. So my husband has been breeding these cows for over 20 years, and a lot of them are genetically bred for high milk fat as well. So there's even more science here than you thought, right? Very good questions.
So thinking about the Little Miss Muffet,
Yes.
poem. Can you eat whey, or what do you do with it?
Yes. Good question. So you can eat whey. A little secret. Several years ago, when my kiddos were young, I took the whey from the cheese that I made and I squeezed some lemons in it and put some sugar in to make a whey lemonade for them. And guess what? They did not like my whey lemonade. Sad but true. I wanted them to enjoy it, but they did not like it. So some farmers use the whey to feed other livestock like pigs or other animals. And other companies use the whey to make whey protein powder for your sports drinks or rehydration after exercise. So I'm sorry, Cassie, I forget what the original question is, but that's some more information about whey and the uses for whey. I wish my kids would like it, but they don't. So maybe I need to try a different whey lemonade recipe. Maybe that's what I need to do.
No, that was good. Let's go back to a couple things from the farm. So, where is, the corn, the grain stored, and how do you get them into tanks or
Oh, good.
silos?
Good question. So if you look behind me, can you see the silos behind me? So our tallest silo is 110 feet tall, and it holds over 1,000 ton of feed. So that means it's over 2.2 million pounds of feed just in that one tall silo. The other silos are about 90 feet tall and hold a little bit less tonnage, maybe about 500 tons or so. We have to chop that feed in our fields with big tractors and machines. And then we have what's called a blower, like a big fan. So we dump the feed into that big fan from the wagon on the tractor, and the fan blows it up the side of the silo. See those chutes on the side of the silo? It blows it up in the top of the silo and it falls down in, and then it goes layer and layer and gets higher and higher and higher. And then the feed in many of the silos ferments. It's anaerobic. So it creates this yummy, digestible mix of alfalfas and haylage that are in the silos and stored all year for when we need it, especially during the snowy days and the icy days of winter. So that's how we get the food. I wish I could show you the tractors and all the harvesters. You would love to see them run. They harvest the corn and the haylage and the soybeans, all the stuff from our fields, and they chop it up and they blow it up into the silo. It falls down and gets higher and higher and stores that way. And we have special conveyors that bring out the feed. So we can put it in that big mixer you saw, like mixing all around. And that's how we help the cows get nutritious feed all year long.
Very cool. Very cool. What, just double checking really quick. Um, we have someone ask, do you use a grain weevil in your silo?
That's a really good question. So I think I've come to the conclusion that you guys are smarter than me today. I'm not familiar with the term grain weevil, but I'm sure I could look it up and learn something about it. All of our silos have unloaders in them. So maybe, I'm not sure if that might be the nature of the question. The unloader helps to go around the feed and get it out onto the conveyor. So it's like a big arm that goes around the silo to scrape the feed out. Some of them are at the bottom of the silos, and some of the unloaders are at the top of the grain. It depends what style silo you have. But they have big machines that help scrape the feed out and dump it into a conveyor. And the conveyor then takes it into the feed mixer and mixes it all up like you saw in the video. And I will look up what a grain weevil is. I'm not familiar with that, but I need to do some research. So thank you for teaching me this morning. You guys are awesome. I'm sorry that I don't know all the answers.
Do you have any other animals on your farm? We have people asking about chickens and goats specifically.
Yes. So we used to have chickens. We don't have chickens anymore. We do have a goat. Oh, I should have brought them up. You would have loved to see them. Two baby goats, two girls. We had twins born, but they're just a pet. The goats are our pets. And the cows can be our pets too, but we only have 3 goats and we have 200 milk cows. So the goats have a special little bond with us because the two twin girls are jumping around and you can't see them now, but it would be fun to send a picture over. Maybe we'll have to arrange for that. Good question.
We could make that happen.
Mm,
Do you make any butter or ice cream or anything like that?
Great question. For our own family, yes, we do make butter and we make homemade ice cream from our milk fat, but we don't have a way yet to be permitted to sell butters and ice creams yet to the community, but it's been on our mind. It's something we can keep thinking about to grow our cheese shed. Maybe we want to sell more than cheese. Maybe we want to start selling butters and ice creams, which we would love to do, but we just haven't gotten to that point. We do as a family, but not for others. Great question.
Very good. What is the most popular cheese that you sell?
Oh, excellent question. So we have a garlic and dill cheese that actually sold out of the shelves, which is why I don't have it here to show you. A garlic and dill cheese that is really popular. And truthfully, people come for our five pepper party, the first place farm show winner that I told you about, the spicy cheese. A lot of folks actually like that cheese. A little secret, my family is not a spicy family and we don't really like that cheese, but a lot of people do. It's one of our best sellers, the five pepper party. So we try new flavors. We just had a bacon Colby that people really loved. And we also have vineyards in the area that we make their own cheese from their own wine. So we make the cheese and add their wine to it, and then they can sell it as their own wine cheese. I guess that's for those who enjoy the older folks too, that enjoy that. So those are all good sellers for us.
Very nice. So where are you located? And if someone wanted to stop by, could they do that?
Yes, you are more than welcome to stop by. Our little self-serve cheese shed is open. We do 8 to 8, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., Monday to Saturday. You can just stop in. It's honor system. So even if we're not home, you can put the money in a little money box and take your cheese with you. We are in Middletown, Pennsylvania, right along the Susquehanna River. In fact, right across from 3 Mile Island or the Christopher M. Crane Clean Energy Center. So X Road in Middletown is our address. JubileeCheese.com is our website. If you Google Jubilee Cheese, you'll find a website with some of our cheeses pictured there that you can find at the shop. We'd love to have you come visit, come out to the farm, see the goat kids, see the cows, the heifers. We'd love to have you anytime. We really enjoy connecting with our community. Great question.
And with that, is there anything you'd like to share to wrap up? We're almost out of time here.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. I cannot thank you enough for being on the call today, learning about our farm, learning more about agriculture, and listening to our story. I learned from you this morning. Thank you for teaching me. I hope you learned from me this morning. I've so enjoyed being with you. Please continue to ask your fabulous questions. Don't ever stop learning. Teachers, keep up the great work. You're making an impact for generations to come. I'm cheering for all of you. So thank you for making this possible. Thanks to the Pennsylvania Friends of Ag Foundation, Pennsylvania Farm Bureau for making this possible. I've really been honored to be a part of this journey. Keep up the good work, guys. Study hard. You're almost done with school for the year. You're going to do a great job. Thanks for having me.